Recruiting top talent is one of the highest priorities, especially if you're in HR. And if you're the president or if you're an executive leading the company, you know that the potential is only as high as the people that make up your company, right? So recruiting top talent, retaining top talent should be the top priorities at most companies. Now, when you're doing that, of course you want to look within the US. But a lot of times when you interview really qualified candidate from our universities, you find out, oh, they're an international student. And a lot of times students are even scared to bring up their immigration status because they're worried that they're not even going to be considered for the job. But if your company is like, oh, you're going to be on OPT, then great. OPT means that a student can work full-time in a job position that's related to their major. There's no minimum salary requirement, and they're able to commit for a year. And that's great. You can work with some of the best college graduates, foreign students, who are motivated to work for your company, who are able to give you the time and energy and their talents, and you get a full year. Now, if they're in the STEM fields, you can also apply for a STEM OPT, and then they can work for 2 more years. So that's a really great way to recruit top talent from our top universities here in the US. You can also help them apply for the H-1B. If they get selected in the H-1B lottery, then they can smoothly transition from F-1 to H-1B. If you really like the employee, you can also offer to sponsor their green card through the EB-2, EB-3 perm process. So, I've seen clients start out as F-1 OPT, eventually get the green card and, lead the firm and lead departments, right? So they stay with the firm for like 10, 15 years. But you can also think about, oh, what about our subsidiaries? What about our affiliates? What about our parent companies? What about our suppliers, vendors abroad? I know there was an employer that reached out to me recently and said, hey, I'm thinking about setting up my own factory here in the US, but I want to bring over the guys in China who are running the factories to come and set up everything here. How would I do that? That's a great question, right? So there's so many different ways that you can recruit talent from outside of the US to come to do a specific job. It could be a short-term project, right? Or it could be a long-term project. The L1 is, let's say you have a parent company abroad and you have a manager that's running a department over there, but you want to launch the same project or the same department here in the US. Who's a better candidate than the person who's been running that department abroad, right? And so you were recruiting people who were serious about working in the United States and also who had a long-term vision, who wanted to stay in the US and become permanent residents. And because of that, you got really committed, high top talent, people who are motivated because they wanted to come to the United States. And the company also provided a pathway for their families to come as well. I know some of the candidates who joined, who came to the US through this recruitment process. They got married, they had kids here. And they really flourished and were able to contribute greatly to the company here in the US. So they had a specific program that recruited that way. And that way, I think it also lowered the anxiety level of employees, because other companies, if you don't really have a pipeline or a clear program, you kind of don't know. It's at-will employment. As an H-1B worker, you could be let go at any moment. And not only are you without a job, but now you don't have status, right? You have a 60-day grace period to find another job. But that's so much pressure. So it's really nice when you know that the employer is saying, hey, as long as you do great work for us, we're willing to sponsor your H-1B and also sponsor your green card. As a company, prioritizing hiring U.S. workers is obviously a good thing. As the U.S. government, we want to raise and have good U.S. workers work for our companies. But there's certain positions that even if you recruit the top talent in the US, you might not be able to find the perfect candidate. And so that's why there's a lot of companies out there that have all these jobs, but no one's doing them. In those situations, if you find a qualified candidate that happens to be an international student or happens to be a foreign national, then why not? The U.S. government, the U.S. law came up with immigration laws for a reason. It's because we need help. We need more. There are more jobs than workers available, is what I would say. So if you're able to recruit top talent that's able to do the job well, not only are you growing your company and helping the U.S. economy, you're helping internally, right? Because everyone's learning and training from each other. I think having the best of the best in your company is actually good for the U.S. workforce as well, and we're learning and growing from each other. So I think there's only to gain, not lose in this situation. All of the HR professionals and companies that are interested in learning more about the immigration process, feel free to book a 250 strategy consultation with myself or with Joseph or any of our account managers here. We're so happy to share our knowledge and share our experiences so that you can understand what it takes to apply for a visa or to sponsor or how to recruit top talent within the United States or outside of the United States. We're so happy to share that knowledge with you guys.